there, welcome back to our channel. So today what I'm going to be sharing with you guys is a new series that I came up with, and I'm really excited for it. It all came as a result of the fact that I ended our trip vlogs from our August trip last week. It was our last one, and I was trying to think of a new series that I could share with you guys. So I had one thing in mind and was trying to get things together for that, and that's when I happened to stumble across my old vintage Disney memorabilia from the trips from when I was a kid, and I was really excited because they were in pristine condition, and that just got me thinking what a great idea it would be to start a series to share these things with you guys. Our first trip was in 1982 and I was 4 years old, and I did remember a little bit from that trip, but then we were lucky enough to go again the following year. So the things that I'm going to be sharing with you today are from those two trips, mainly the first one though. I have a lot from our 1982 trip. So let's get started and I'll show you guys what I have. So like I said, our first trip was in July of 82. Now you have to remember, Epcot didn't open until October of 82, so the only park that you could visit back then in July of 82 was the Magic Kingdom. Now these are our original tickets, and this is what I mean when I say I can't believe how pristinely these were kept. I mean, it doesn't even look like they've aged a day, let alone 36 years. But we had a family of 5 when I went. It was my parents and my brother and sister and me. So here we have all 5 of our original tickets, and it's just interesting. They actually used to date stamp the actual day when you would visit. So you can see that we visited July 26th, 27th, and 30th in 1982. And it's also interesting on the back of these tickets. I'll show you this one. This was my ticket as a kid. It was a child ticket. It cost $24.50 for 3 days at the Magic Kingdom back then. And the junior tickets for my brother and sister were $29.75 and my parents $32.25. So for 30 bucks, $10 a day basically, you could visit the Magic Kingdom back then. And also it allowed you entry into River Country, which I will get into that as well as we go along here. And along with the tickets in the bag of everything I found these really cool vintage postcards. So we have the Pinocchio gang there in front of the Village House. We have Goofy riding in the teacups, and Mickey and Goofy in front of Space Mountain wearing their spacesuit astronaut costumes. It's just such a vintage feel to these. Like, you just don't see these things anymore. Reminds me of being a kid again. And here I am as a little kid again, having some ice cream in front of the castle. Ah, the good old days. And here's me and my dad on the teacups for the first time, and it is from him that I get my love of Disney. Here's a little retro Tomorrowland with Mission to Mars in the background. You got the Wedway People Mover, always one of my favorites. Always love these guys too outside of Space Mountain. And this here was a special show that they had back in 1982 to celebrate the 10-year anniversary for the Magic Kingdom. And we also checked out this model that they had for Epcot, which was going to be opening just a few months after we were there. And here we are the following year at one of my favorite attractions at Epcot, Journey into Imagination. I used to love those jumping water fountains so much. Yeah, here's something you never see anymore, when they used to have the buses that would drive around World Showcase. So with only having the Magic Kingdom back then, you would spend a lot of time outside of the park going to resorts and the Village Marketplace, aka Disney Springs now, and also River Country. So one of the things that we did on our first trip was the Hoop-de-Doo Review at Fort Wilderness. So I just thought this was really cool. These also are in just excellent condition. But it was the Pioneer Hall Review, it says back then. It doesn't actually say Hoop-de-Doo on here, but as far as I know, it's always been called Hoop-de-Doo. I could be wrong, you can let me know. But this is also interesting, the prices back then. $9.50, this was for my ticket, this pink one. $9.50 for my meal, $14 for a junior, and $17 for an adult. So I just like the price comparison. I just find that interesting to see how much prices have increased over the years. This also, back then they would date stamp, so this was July 27th, 1982 was when we went to the Hoop-de-Doo Review. I love that you could play these washboards while you're there. I was a kid, I did it, and then what was really cool is when we went in 2009 the first time with the kids, here's Jared doing the same exact thing, the same exact age. And one of the other classic restaurants back in the day was the good old Empress Lily. We went there our first trip for breakfast. It was a fun character breakfast, and here I am meeting Pluto with my dad holding me up. And then they also had all kinds of characters. Here's some of the, they had the Pinocchio gang there, and there is me and Gideon. And there's the original Mickey balloons before they had their protective bubble like they do now. All that fun and excitement was pretty overwhelming, apparently. And another thing we would do was go around and check out the different resorts. The Polynesian was always my favorite, always my dad's favorite too. And here we are renting the boats there, and we cruise around the lake. Always a good time. And we also can't forget the awesomeness that was River Country. Here I am at the water slide. I don't know what I'm doing there. But these here were my all-time favorite slides, these cut-off slides. I would go on them over and over and over again. Loved them. So back in the early 80s, there weren't very many resorts on property yet. It was just basically the monorail resorts, which back then it was only the Polynesian and the Contemporary. Grand Floridian wasn't open until the later 80s. You had Fort Wilderness, but then you also had the Village Resort, which was right in the downtown Disney area, and that consisted of tree houses and townhomes. It was in walking distance to downtown Disney Village Marketplace back then. And the very first time that we went, we actually stayed in the tree houses, and they were so cool. I have some postcards here, actually. So they look pretty much like they do nowadays. They've been rebuilt since the originals, but they look still pretty much the same. And this is the townhouses. We've stayed in both. Actually, the second year, in '83, we stayed here in these townhouses. But it's all right here in the Village Marketplace area. So yeah, that was where we stayed back in the day. And I do have a picture that I'm going to show you of the one that we stayed at. So here's our actual treehouse. That's my dad coming out the back. He was walking onto the golf course, which was right outside of our door. And we even kept a few of the little room souvenirs from back in the day. This actually is the parking pass that my parents had. So this allowed us to park at the resort. Said it expired July 31st, 1982. And we kept these from the room. Just a couple of these little notepads. It says Lake Buena Vista on them. So, and just one other thing, we kept the coasters from the room. Disney's Village Resort. Classic coasters. Still like new. Pretty neat. So the last part of this video that I want to share with you guys is actually a little mini vintage Disney haul. I found in with everything else that we still had some mint condition, pretty cool souvenirs. So here's a bumper sticker from back in the day. Just has, you can see just the Magic Kingdom and Epcot are on there. And this is the original Epcot Center sticker from when they opened. So super shiny. You can see the camera. This was another bumper sticker with the Magic Kingdom and Epcot on it. But I just couldn't believe how brand new these are. They look like they haven't aged at all. They've just been tucked away, waiting for me to find them one day. That only has a Magic Kingdom. We used to actually have this bumper sticker on our station wagon. I remember it. It's pretty cool. And we have two of these. These are decals. The good old days. They have yellowed a little bit, you can probably see, but still really good condition. And then these were my favorite when I was a kid. They're just a few postcards, but I just love the animation on them. I would sit there and just look at these and reminisce of our trips. You can see I marked my name on the back. You can see I had fabulous penmanship there at 4 years old. And this one must have been a little hungry, took a bite out of it. I don't know. Kids do strange things, but yeah, got my name on that one too. And the last one, Donald in the teacups with his nephews. So there you have it. So that ends this video, the first in my 1980s Magical Memorabilia series. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I had a lot of fun reminiscing through everything with you guys. And let me know in the comments below what you thought. If you liked it, subscribe, give it a thumbs up. Next week I will have another entry. I do have a lot of memorabilia where this all came from our trips throughout the years. So subscribe and share and tell your friends. And until next time, I hope you all have a magical rest of your day. And remember, life is better with Disney. Peace.